What is up? It is a Figure Hunter, and we're going to talk today about the Apple Watch Series 9. Now, the perspective I'm taking on this, and this is going to be the world's shortest mini review, is that the Apple Watch Series 9 from somebody who is coming from the Apple Watch Ultra 2. And there's a whole collection of reasons that I went from the Ultra 2 to now testing the Series 9. So when I look at the Series 9 and it's coming from a vantage point of a bigger watch, what are the pros and cons? We all know a lot of the broad specs of the Series 9. It's got the capabilities, it's got the, the newest chip, it's got the, all the basics, and it is in the same basic size casing options that you would have for the last millennia with Apple. So there's nothing really new that hasn't been uncovered there in a million other reviews before. So I'm just going to share about what I think is the pros and what are the cons with the Apple Watch Series 9 watch. So when you look at the design, there's a pro and a con with the design. The design is the repeat. It's the same thing we've all seen, same thing that's been there for a long time. And it's the same thing that for me, I really dislike. I really dislike the rounded edges. I really strongly dislike the I'm going to say it, but the daintiness of the Apple Watch Series 9. The rounded edges, glass screen, feels like you could smash it, break it at any point in time. And even though it's a bigger watch at 45 millimeters, it still feels like a delicate timepiece that I just don't like that feeling. I don't like the look of the rounded edges. I don't like it. And I have a whole review, I'll put it in a link in the description below, about like options to protect it so that you could make it look a little more rugged, but also protect it because it is glass just sitting out there on the rounded edges. So in the design, I don't like the small little tiny rotating crown and the little tiny button. Everything just feels small, and I'm coming from the Apple Watch Ultra 2, but it just feels like, tinier. Anyway, enough about that. But on the flip side, the design for the size, it is definitely the same computing power feeling as the Apple Watch Ultra 2. And so you have a smaller casing, a cleaner, sleeker casing that does all the same high-level computer function type smartwatch features that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 at a much higher price point would be able to provide. I walked through a cobweb, so I'm still paranoid there's spiders in my hair. So that's a pro, that it actually fully functions. It's got everything you could get in the bigger brother, fancier, expensiver, watch in the Apple Watch Series 9. And everything works exactly the same. It feels like a smaller actual overall experience, just a slightly smaller experience on the screen size and the rounded edges screen. But at the same time, you don't feel like you're losing anything from what you would have experienced, other than the simplicity of the buttons feeling smaller and delicate and harder to operate because they're smaller. And so that's the casing overall pro and con. And when I go to just evaluate its capabilities, the only major loss with the design is also the fact that it doesn't have that extra button. And like the aesthetics aside that I dislike, the fact that it doesn't have the button, where the action button, where you can start and stop, or you turn it, you can turn on a flashlight. So that is a major loss, because it does feel like it's in general too buttonless of an experience, meaning you are so screen dependent, and you are way more so feeling on the Apple Watch Series 9. Overall, I think for the price and then the functions and capabilities. So as I've said in the Apple Watch Ultra 2 review, the addition of an app called Superset does make the Apple Watch functionally useful in today's competitive environment for recovery and for training. There are a number of recovery and training apps like Athletic, like Training Today, that are out there on the market. I think Chipper's gone, but there's a number of them out there that basically can help you accomplish wellness and recovery type stuff and training type stuff. None of them are like a Garmin or a Coros or Asunto, none of them are like a real training watch. None of them really help you with in-depth training analysis as much, and none of them for sure help you with the wellness and recovery features. Although the Apple Watch Series 9, the Apple Watch Series period, still has the most accurate heart rate tracking. If you don't want to wear a chest strap, it will be able to keep up with the most rigorous workouts better than anybody else on the market. Garmin has caught up recently with the Elevate 5.0 heart rate sensor. You know, Samsung has got, I think the Galaxy whatever 5 or whatever's the most recent does a pretty good job. Huawei does a good job, but those also don't track really good. So Garmin's is the real competitor when it comes to an opposite that creates real wellness, real recovery, real training specifics and details and analysis and sports tracking and all that stuff. And they caught up with the Elevate 5.0, but either way, the Apple Watch has been doing it and doing it well for a long time. So when it comes to just the other features and benefits, the smartwatch features are awesome. And, you know, simple things like, you know, the flashlight does work. It is a 2000 nit brightness, so it still feels like really bright. You know, not as bright as the Apple Watch Ultra 2, because that's a 3000 nit, but you're able to accomplish the same basic things with the Apple Watch Series 9. So I think in general for the price, I probably, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on like what I think is the best value point in today's Apple Watch buying market. I would probably find a way to get a cheaper Apple Watch Ultra 2. The battery life on the Apple Watch Series 9, because of the fast charging, and I charge my watches twice a day. So when I shower in the morning, when I shower after the workout in the early evening. So that gives it about 20-25 minutes of charge time a day. And that's been kind of enough to sustain. If I was not in access of a charger, or I went, the Apple Watch Series 9 would be much more problematic because it doesn't have as big of a battery as the Apple Watch Ultra series. So that would be an issue. But overall, it keeps up with short burst charges because of the fast charging. I still would probably not want to spend $500 or, you know, in the 400 and something on the Apple Watch Series 9. I'd want to find a way to find a discounted Apple Watch Ultra 2, because it, to me, feels like so much stronger, bolder, bigger, better, and the extra button, all those types of things. But if you want the full functioning, like in the Apple Watch series of watches is so, it's like it is a computer on your wrist. So if you want all of those features in a computer on your wrist that can do basically all the same things that the Ultra 2 could do at a cheaper price point, than the Apple Watch Series 9 is your go-to, I would just get something to make it look less dainty and protect the edges in the case. So that's my short, quick review for the Apple Watch Series 9. Stay tuned for more fitness and training content. It's Vic, your Hunter. Thanks so much for watching.